So the polls have dropped, and shockingly, they don't hate us as much as our actual fan base hates us right now. I know everybody's still hurt from that defeat to Kansas, but it doesn't appear that it's affected us too badly so far. Now, if anything, Oklahoma's going to have to do what they need to do to make it do what it do if they want to see success long term. But the good thing is, the polls dropped. So the coaches poll, we got the AP poll, and ESPN's FPI, which is the Football Power Index, all have come together and now tells me there is a chance for the Sooners. There is a path for potential rebound from what happened this weekend. So let's dive into that. Let's look at the polls as we prepare for the college football playoffs initial poll, which will be on Halloween. That is going to be the poll that matters. It supersedes everybody else. But let's go ahead and dive and see what we're looking at. But before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. We're going to jump right into what these polls are looking like. We're going to jump into what Oklahoma needs to do going forward to get the victory and get the opportunity to play into the playoffs. And so let's take a look at it, right? Let's take a look at the coaches poll, which dropped first. I think that one's the most intriguing of them all. Here's your top 10. So top 10 right here, coaches poll. Shout out to On3. Love their graphics. Like to use theirs the most. They always do their thing. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Texas, Oregon, Alabama, Penn State, Ole Miss. You don't see our Sooners. But don't fret. Next page here. Sooners are sitting at number 11. So that means the coaches aren't farly down on Oklahoma. The big thing with Oklahoma is another update's going to come from me on Monday. Injuries, man. It looks like we've got some key and critical players down. And we've got a lot of teams in front of us that honestly will take care of themselves. You got to remember, Penn State still has Michigan. Michigan has Ohio State. So we've got a lot of games ahead of us that could potentially wipe a lot of these out. Washington has USC. Oregon has USC. We've got a lot of games still in the mix that in the end will take care of themselves. So I'm not too concerned. Florida State's probably the only team that has the best path to the playoffs, but I'm not going to count their chickens before they're hatched as well, because we just saw what happened to Oklahoma. And we've seen this happen to just about a lot of college football teams out there. We've seen this happen to just about everybody in years past. And so coaches poll wise, this is what Oklahoma's sitting at number 11, which I think is a good number. They put us behind Ole Miss, which was kind of questionable for me, but our loss to Kansas, who's now ranked, by the way, they're like 23rd in the coaches poll. They're actually looking like a team that now is getting some respect at 6-2. So if Kansas can finish out this year at least 9-2, maybe 9-3 or 10-2, fares very well for the Sooners. So I hope Bean figures out how to do it, or if they can convince Jay and Daniels to come back and then he just start playing and they start cooking up folks. I don't know. But anyway, that's the coaches poll. The AP poll followed behind that, and we'll talk FPI later because we'll talk computers and kind of explain kind of what that means too. AP poll dropped. This is where we're sitting. Oklahoma has moved from number 6, brace yourself, to number 10. Yes. I know I'm in shock like you all are. The coaches, the AP actually likes us. Because to be honest, I expected us to drop to about 15 when I initially thought about this poll. I said, they're probably going to put us at 15th. Between 10 and 15 makes the most sense. They put us at 10, actually at the high point of what I was thinking. But then when I looked at it, it makes sense. There's no reason for them to put Ole Miss ahead of us. Ole Miss lost to Alabama. Wasn't that bad of a loss, but because it was Alabama, who's number 8. But Ole Miss has struggled a lot more than we have this season. Penn State was a little questionable, but they lost to Ohio State, who's number 3. Texas beat Alabama, who they're in front of, but they lost to us, so that kept us close. So that win with Texas and Texas staying where they are is helping us a lot. Washington over Oregon because Washington beat Oregon at home. So overall, it looks like there is a clear path for the Sooners going forward to be able to keep going. Because a lot of these teams, as I mentioned, will take care of themselves. They're going to have to play each other. You still got Michigan. You still got, Ohio State, playing each other and playing Penn State. You got a lot of games in between there that could really work things out. Penn State still's got a pretty tough schedule in front of them as well. If you really look at it, I mean, they struggled against IU, who's 2-6. But they're traveling to Maryland. They got Michigan coming to their place. They play against Rutgers and they travel to Michigan State, in which honestly they could lose only one game, which will be to Michigan. If they make that a close game, there's a chance that the polls like them and say, you know what? If it was they played again, there's a chance that Penn State could have won. So that's kind of some of the mythology that they're using when they decide this. But then you go from there into ESPN's FPI and the Football Power Index. I like it because, it's all computers, all simulations, but the thing about what they do is they really tell you what, if everything works out perfectly on a regular basis through a whole bunch of simulations, what a team can look like. And right now, FPI-wise, we're number 8. We were number 2 for most of the season. Ohio State is still considered the top team in the country by the computers. They think that, 9 times out of 10 or 2,000 simulations, they're going to win majority of the games. And so for Oklahoma, this is the path. This is what Oklahoma needs to do in order to really take advantage of this. So we got to look at the games coming up. Oklahoma has Oklahoma State this weekend on the road. Oklahoma State's not ranked yet. There's an 80% chance by the computer say that we win this game. So it's going to be a tough one. Oklahoma's going to have to figure out how to win that one soundingly, right? That one to me is probably the big one. If Oklahoma can win that game, we're good. Next game for Oklahoma. West Virginia at the crib. Now, the computers give us a 92% chance of winning this game. I do not like those odds. And I'm going to tell you why. West Virginia is playing some really good football right now. Really good. Like, they're shocking the world with the way that they're playing. And so there's absolutely no reason for me to think that West Virginia is going to walk in here and lay down and lose. It's going to be some work. Next game. BYU on the road. Now, y'all know me. I told y'all when the season started how I felt about BYU. BYU just got pounded by Texas. And that means nothing to me. My boy Ty over Around the Table Sports always talks about that doesn't mean much. Just because you think it does don't mean it is. Because what have we seen before? We've seen teams lose games that they shouldn't. Hence Oklahoma just now losing to Kansas. Then we got TCU coming to the crib on Black Friday. Short week, TCU coming in, 86% chance to win the game. Our best chance of winning any of our games right now is BYU. I'm sorry, it's West Virginia. And that's the game that concerns me the most. BYU's at 90%, West Virginia's at 92%. The computers like us a lot still. We just got to execute. Now, the question is, are they taking into consideration the way that Jeff Lebby's calling games? I don't know. But I will tell you this. I don't expect Oklahoma to not come into the rest of these games prepared. I do expect us to start every game slow, though, because that seems to be our MO. That's like the ethos of who we are. But I do anticipate that this guy's going to get them ready, and he's going to remind them, you now lost. You've got to prove yourself. And you got to ask yourself, are you ready to show everybody that you are better than what they think you are? We have to prove ourselves even more now than we had before. And I kind of like us as the underdog. So, that's the polls. That's what we're looking at. Hop in the comments. Let your boy know what's your thoughts. Love to hear what you all think about what is left for the Sooners, what we need to do to win out, because we've got some work to do. And as long as we show up and show out, hey, man, the season isn't lost. It's not over. We're at number 10. That's a good spot in preparation for the College Football Playoff Committee's polls. If you've made it this far, you like the content, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We'd love to have you join the family. I got a lot of viewers from you all that don't subscribe to the channel. You ain't go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. Join the family. That way you get the notifications every time we drop a video. I've got a bunch of stuff coming this week. We're going to talk about some players. We're going to talk about some coaches. We're going to show some love. I'm going to be a lot of going on my part. So I want to make sure that I can put some more content out since last week I kind of slacked. So YouTube says check out one of these videos. I highly recommend it because I made it for you. And guess what? We're going to talk very, very soon. Y'all enjoy your week. Peace.